Have you ever taken your rabbits to a show and you got great compliments and statements and praises from one show judge, and then at the next show, they were either at the bottom of the class or in the middle, or nobody said anything? This was my experience this past weekend, and it was a good reminder to me of a judge's opinion on your rabbits is simply just that. It's an opinion. And we put so much pressure and power on their opinion. The judge's opinion should not be what we make our defining choices on, or be the one data point that we use to help us choose which rabbits that stay, or the ones that we are looking to purchase. And I also want to let you, or at least ease your thoughts in understanding that I know understanding conformation and what is good can always be very difficult to understand or know what you're looking for. And so it is hard. I've been raising French labs since 2009, and I've learned that rabbit shows are valuable, yes, but they do not hold as much weight as people give them, or will hold winnings at a higher standard than I believe that they should. Here's what rabbit shows are good for, is getting recognition or your name out there in a face to the name that people see online. It does help you meet people. It helps you become a real, I don't want to say tactical person, but when you're just a name online, it's harder for people to think of you. And so, but when people meet you in person and they connect your face to the name and your personality and how you make them feel, then they are far more likely to recommend you to someone else. Or the shows are also great to open your eyes to the possibilities and what's out there. And they're also a good learning experience in the sense of, if you stand around and learn and watch, you're not just sitting there hanging out on your phone the entire time. And also what rabbit shows have taught me is that it's completely subjective. You have to become your own rabbit judge. So I'm going to quickly share with you the two experiences that I had over this most recent one and then one several years ago that have brought me to these conclusions, so you can take these learnings and apply them to yourself and your rabbitry. And then I'll get into a little bit more tactical how-tos or some thoughts that you can take into your keeping choices, whether it's babies you're trying to decide to keep, or who gets to stay, or purchases or anything like that. So first, if you're not aware of how a rabbit show works, first, the breeds are judged amongst themselves. And one judge judges, their colors, based off their classes of the breed. But then a different judge will judge the best of breeds off against each other. Sometimes it's either 4 or 6 class, which is like fancy and commercial breeds. And sometimes they'll put them together, which was the case this weekend. And then they'll do best in show and then in best or reserve if it's a smaller group. But a lot of times they'll do best 4 class, best 6 class, and then those two winning rabbits will go off against each other for best in show. And so all that to say, we got up there. The judge was like, you should take them to convention. You should try to get there. It went great. She was saying how awesome these young girls, the 2 does I brought were 2 junior does. So she was talking us up even after the show. And so it was really confirming to hear her opinions. So then we went to compete for what would have been best in show in reserve, because they put the 4 and 6 class together. And the judge that judged those, he is a man of few words. And so I did not expect anything from him. However, the typical Californian and New Zealand won best reserve and in best in show. And that is fine. But here's the thing, is when I looked at the Californian and New Zealand, which I knew those were going to be our competitors, was that at the level that both of them were, the French lap had the same level of quality to its breed and so its breed standard, in my opinion. But that's just it. It's an opinion. And so while I did not expect us to win anything crazy, it would have been nice to at least hear how they stacked up. It's just another judge's opinion. And then the second experience gave it a little bit more of a data point, was I took one doe and we showed 2 times in the one day. The first show, she won best in show. And then in the next one, she placed in the middle of her breed class. So that is the same day, but 2 different judges. And truthfully, she went under 3 different judges because she won the breed, then the 6th class, and then best in show. And so she held out for 3 different judges, but then this one just didn't like her. And so it's literally just an opinion. And you have to know what you're going for in the breed as well as still listen to other judges as feedback, but it's not the end all be all. So especially in the beginning, if you're still learning conformation and trying to just picture what does this mysterious good version of my breed look like, here's some things you can do to make that at least a little bit clearer in your mind. First is to get a rabbit standard of perfection and look at your breed and study it, read it, take little sentences at a time and be like, what does this mean? And do your best to break it down and try to see what it looks like in your mind. And going to these shows is a great way to watch what is a judge doing. What they don't say much when they're, making choices, but a great way to do this is go stand at the view where you can see them posing it. And then at these bigger ones where there's a lot of them, which ones are they putting back first? You're not going to be able to get answers of why, but you'll start to see a picture in a through line of, well, I notice that the arch is not as smooth, or the hindquarters are not as full, so they tend to put those back first. Or with the French lap size, especially when it's a bigger group of them, just because they're a good, nice little package and they might meet the weight standard, they still want bigger. They still want bulkier. And so the smaller ones tend to go off first, even if their crown looks great, their top line looks great, they've got the width, stuff like that. And so really just pay attention to the commonalities of what tends to go off first, or what people tend to say when they get to the top 10 of them. Listen to what they're saying. Don't just pay attention to yours. Use it as a learning experience and go like, okay, what can I pick up? Things like that. And when the shows are like winding down or people are not really that busy, people love to talk about their animals. And I think this was a learning experience or a thought process that I had at this last show, was that if you go in with the air of I don't belong here or I don't fit in, then you're going to assume that body position, that fear vibe around you. But if you sit there with confidence and go, I belong here, I'm no different than the next person, then you are going to be, not that people are going to necessarily come up to you as much, but when I sit at a show and I'm like off to the corner and kind of just acting like I want to be ignored, nobody comes to talk to me as much as when I'm sitting there in confidence and I might be reading or listening to something. But even at this last time, people came up to talk to me and I just pulled my earbud out and we talked. And if you are open to people talking to you, then be open and act as if you are that way. Even as an adult, it's no different than high school. If we exude that kind of I'm willing to talk, or you exude that confidence, then you're less likely to be intimidated. Most people are just as intimidated as you are. And, we all naturally want to just fit in. And so when you show yourself friendly, then you are going to be befriended. And just be open, talk to people, find someone with your breed and just say, hey, I'm learning. Can you show me? People are waiting for most of the day and they've got plenty of time to talk. So it's fine. So go talk to people. When you are making choices of who stays or who to breed and things like that, I want you to ask yourself, does this rabbit improve or move me closer to my herd goals or my breeding goals, in the sense of, does this strengthen this aspect of my rabbits? One thing that I've been wanting to work on over the last couple of years is width. You would get a nice arch, but they would not have the wide butt that they needed to have for the breed. And so that has been the next kind of thing that I've been working on, and only choosing the ones that are at least were decent or had the width that could sustain the top line as well. Have goals like that in mind that you want to either improve on or that you want are sort of a requirement for your keepers. And then also, if you don't know where you're going with, what needs fixed, look at the breed standard and then start with the section of your animals that have the highest point system. So for French laps, there's the head and crown and all that. It's kind of like they group the head together, but then they break it down between like ears and crown and stuff like that. And then they've got the arch and bone and top line, that sort of thing. So pick an area that you want to improve on. Start with the highest point group. Do that and just start going like, well, let's work on this. So it's a little less overwhelming, and do your best to choose ones that improve on that area. But when you are making purchases and you're trying to improve on, say, the head after you've mastered the crown or the body, do not pick one that may have an amazing head, but terrible top line and body, and then breed them together and expect amazing animals to come of that. Do not ever choose one that overall is below the animals you already have, or you're taking a step back. And so just always be mindful of that, because I see this and I saw it a lot when I first got started, and it just made absolutely no sense. And you've probably heard it in some of my other videos too. Your gene pool of your 2 mama and daddy rabbits do not know, oh, these features match up to the standard of perfection and these features match up, so let's use these good features to make the best babies. No, genes just kind of go together and make whatever babies they get, and it could be you end up with all the bad features, or in our mind, what is bad features of the animal, and you get terrible looking babies, or you might get a good feature in this one, and usually most of the time it's a mix. And so you have to keep a standard and keep it tighter, and it's going to get tighter and tighter the better you get, and that's a good thing. And so I'm getting on a soapbox here, but be very strict and know what you are going for. Don't let a judge's opinion dictate who you keep and who you decide to purchase, or what was said before influence your decisions later. It's just one data point that can help affect a decision, but not be the sole choice maker. Okay? So results do matter, but they should not hold as much significant weight as a lot of us give them. So winnings are awesome. If you have them, congratulations. Like, relish in it, but don't let it be your decision maker. All right. If you have someone who's trying to figure out, what direction do I go with rabbits, share this video with them so we can help other people make their rabbitry journey a whole lot easier.